The prosecution trying to make two key points in the trial against Fabian Gonzalez today. One, that Gonzalez and his cousin, Jessica Kelly, had time to clean up following the murder of 10-year-old Victoria Martens, and that Gonzalez's initial interviews with police don't add up. News 13's Brittany Bade breaks down day 7 of this trial.
This analysis provides very strong support for the proposition that Fabian Gonzalez is a contributor to this mixed DNA profile.
Prosecutors argue DNA evidence found on a bloody towel proves Fabian Gonzalez helped dismember 10-year-old Victoria Martens. The defense disagrees, saying Gonzalez lived in the home, and it's impossible to prove when his DNA got on that towel.
There's no way to determine exactly when DNA is deposited on an item.
The state's second DNA expert echoed the first, saying DNA found on key items in the home like knives and Victoria's clothing was inconclusive. The prosecution offered a possible reason as to why.
Would you expect a different result if the knife were cleaned?
Cleaning does destroy DNA, so it's possible that if someone handled an item and it was cleaned, it's possible you would not find their DNA.
Next on the stand, a now APD sergeant who was one of the first on scene at the Westside apartment in 2016.
So when I first entered the apartment, immediately I noticed a strong smell of like a cleaning agent.
Brown was also the first to interview Gonzalez, who started telling his version of what happened that night, saying Jessica Kelly woke him and Michelle Martens up just before 2 a.m. and started attacking them with an iron. However, Brown told the jury that time did not match anyone else's story. Multiple neighbors testified hearing the fight between Gonzalez, Kelly, and Michelle happening around 4 a.m.
Based on the canvas, we're hearing that, this altercation's occurring between 3:45, 4 a.m. And I told her what Fabian said, and we were like, okay, yeah, his statement's not matching up to what everybody else is saying.
That would mean there are roughly 2 hours unaccounted for between 2 and 4 a.m. where no one knows what was going on inside the apartment. Brown testifying that is just one of several red flags in Gonzalez's story.
But knowing, what we knew, it was interesting during the interview. He said that, during the fight, him and Michelle, were concerned about Victoria, but yet they never went in there. And then after he made that statement, he never really asked again, how's this little girl? How's Victoria?
Brittany Bade, KRQE News 13.
The jury heard for the first time today details of Michelle Martens' initial story of what happened to her daughter, claiming Victoria was given meth, Gonzalez had sex with her, and then she was killed. That story was eventually determined to be false. The defense claims the investigation got off track at that moment by forcing Michelle into a false confession.